Fair warning, I am recording this for Miles. I figured I'd just record all three of them and maybe something would float to the top that works well. So, okay. Well, got a couple of things to show you, and then Mr. Maybe will jump in with a couple of things as well. But the first thing that I would like to show everybody is a an add-on for Google. Well, basically, it's a Google Sheet, and this Google Sheet lets you modify in bulk at one time all of the due dates and points for any assignment that you have in Canvas. This is very good for it's very good for like preparing your class for next semester or next year. But I've found that I've been using it a lot in the middle of the year when my pacing gets off from what I originally planned. So I have pretty much all of my assignments mapped out for the rest of the semester, but what with it automatically marking them as missing and 0%, if my due date's wrong, that causes all kinds of headaches for the kids and angry emails. So I go through and just make this change. So let's go ahead and jump into this. The first thing that we have is a spreadsheet that you make a copy of, and that's I just posted it in the chat. And let's slip over to my desktop here. Oh, sorry, got it backwards. There we go. Once again, coming to that multiple screens thing we were talking about. Okay, so once you open it, it creates or it opens this file, and the first thing that you have to do is make a copy of it. Copy. It's gonna. There we go. And it'll take just a second to actually make that copy. Now, at some point, we're going to have to, or I'm going to have to stop and jump over to my original version of this because once I've linked new sheets, the new sheets don't work, which I'll show you in a minute. Am I not sharing my screen?
Not yet.
So you're not seeing this?
I am.
Okay.
We are now, yeah.
Now we are, yeah.
Oh, okay. I just hadn't spotlighted. Gotcha. Okay, so click on that link, make a copy, and then here I'm currently in the copy. So I'm going to, after a few seconds, you'll have a new menu that opens up here at the top. It'll automatically pop up, and it's called Canvas. It's right next to Help. The first thing that we have to do to make this work, and we only have to do this the first time, is to link this with Canvas. So you'll click Configure API Settings, and it'll ask you to authorize it. Click Continue, and then Sign In, and then Allow. And once that's happened, it's going to ask you for a bit of information. So the first thing it wants is the address for our Canvas, which is piperschools.instructure.com. Oops, can't type. re.com, structure.com. And then the next thing it wants is what it's calling the super secret access token. And in order to get that, we'll come back over to Canvas, come to our account up here in the upper left hand corner and choose Settings. And then once you have that open, you'll scroll down just a little bit and there's a section called Approved Integrations. Now I have several of them because I've linked the app. Like any place that you've signed into Canvas will be listed in here. So you'll click New Access Token, and then for purpose, you'll just give it a name, Google Sheets due date. I would not check expires because if you do that, then it'll eventually no longer work. So you would have to go through this step again sometime in the future. We'll click Generate, and then you'll get an email telling you that it generated a new token. But we copy this line right here. It starts in a number and it ends, it's very long, alphanumeric. So we copy it and then we come back over to our Google Sheet and paste it in. You'll click submit, and then after you click submit, it'll pop up a box that says success, and you've now linked your Google Sheet with your Canvas. And it'll go back to being exactly like what's on my screen right now, except you won't have this dates sheet at the bottom. So, to move forward from here and to pull your course information in, you'll click on Canvas again, choose Specify Course, and then it wants an email or a web address. So you'll go back to the Canvas website and find the course that you want to use. I'll use my drafting course this time. And we'll just copy the address that's up here in the top. Come back to the Google Sheet and paste it in. And then click OK. Now it's going to think for a couple of seconds here and then ask you to verify that this is the course that you want. So I've got my P3 drafting class, its ID, and then I'll click yes because I want to proceed. It'll run the script for a few seconds here, and then it will create a new sheet over here called dates. Actually, if it doesn't do that automatically, then all you have to do is come up to Canvas and choose Load Due Dates, and that will probably create the dates page. I think it didn't for me because it was already made. But it'll come through here and pull up a whole bunch of different columns. So the first one is the title of every assignment that I have in Canvas at the moment. Now, I started at the beginning of the semester over and started building my drafting class from scratch again. So usually when I repeat, I'll have some assignments I get rid of, some things that I tried and don't want to use anymore. So I'll have a lot more listed things that I haven't published. But next here, the next column over is the due dates for each assignment. I've even got the due dates for my final already posted in here, even though it hasn't been published. But I have, so Lab 10B was due this past Monday, I think it was. And then Lab 10C will be due next Tuesday. I can put start and close dates for the assignments, which I usually do for actual tests, because you have to do it between these dates. I can put a show answers if it's a quiz date and when to hide them. I can specify how many points each assignment is worth, and then whether or not it has been published. So a 1 means it's been published, and a 0 means that students can't see it. If it's a quiz, you can't specify the points because you did that when you were making the quiz itself. But any of the other ones you can change however you'd like. Once you're happy with the settings that you've made, you can come back up to Canvas and choose Save Due Dates. It'll run the script, and as soon as it says finished, if you come back into Canvas, then each of your assignments will have the due date that you've specified down below them, as well as how many points and whether or not it's visible to students. So, like I said, I use it a lot when I'm setting up a course for the next time that I teach it, but it's really come in helpful for modifying my scope and sequence throughout the semester, so that I don't have random zeros that students shouldn't haven't even been assigned yet. Okay, so every time that you want to change for a different class, you'll come up to Specify Course again, and then paste the address for that new page in here, and then it'll load them. So you can only do it one at a time, but to answer your question, you have to do it one class at a time. All right. So that is all I had for this one. Does anybody have any questions or comments so far before I move on to the next thing I want to show you?
In a second. Yeah, Stefan, let me see where to go. It because Cora has you in class, it signed me in as her. So if you
Oh.
have that available, she obviously can't change due dates. So if you have that like somewhere,
Oh,
like, if
yeah.
you're gonna put it out as a tutorial later, I'll just catch it later.
Definitely. And then I'll have this will get posted in the library of things that we did today that Miles is putting together as well. But okay, anybody else? Cool. So the next thing I want to look at is a lot of us have assignments that are handwritten to be turned in by students, and for a while now I've used a couple of different solutions. One being an app called CamScanner, which is great, but it's really ad supported, and there have been some issues. So this year I switched to Rocketbook, which Tori has talked about a lot, and we found a way so that you can, make it work with any paper. The problem that I've had, it beat it. It's a mild problem, but some students just didn't want to install another app, or chafed against the requirement. So we found a new feature in the Canvas Student app that is basically it'll let you scan from within Canvas Student. So let me pull up my phone here and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Just a second. So the first thing is how to get students logged in to the Canvas Student app. So you can click Find My School and type in the information, but then you have to still use the Google information. It's just, there's a bunch of steps. If they're already logged in on the computer, all they have to do is click on Account, and then QR for mobile login, and then click Proceed. Inside of the app, you click QR Login. It'll tell you the same thing I just told you about how to find it, and you click Next. If it's the first time, it asks you about letting you have the camera access, and then you just point it, and it logs you right in. So, to what I was talking about, or to the whole point of this, let me pull up some paper here again. There we go. Alright, so Mr. Maybe was kind enough to add me to his engineering class. As long as he doesn't continue sending me emails about how I'm missing assignments, I'll be happy. Let me load this up real quick. Let's see here. Nope, not that one. Come on. Do that one. Okay, so we have the assignment here, and down at the bottom we have the blue box that says Submit Assignment. And at the bottom, the last time that I interacted with the student app, there were only 3 options. There was camera, library, and pictures. And the camera would let you take a picture of something, but it kind of color corrected and it was weird, and especially for drafting, it was hard to see the lines that the students were drawing, which is why I was using CamScanner and Rocketbook. But recently, they have added a new feature to the app called Scanner. And if I click on it, it says position the document in view, and if you can see, it's doing a little bit of wizardry right now, where it automatically, I think it did it twice, but where it automatically scanned, straightened, and color corrected the document, so it looks nice and clean. And then they can go through and crop it a little bit more if it didn't get it quite right. But then all I have to do is click Done and Save and Submit. And then as soon as it's done, it'll say Submitted Successfully. They'll get a notification that it was done correctly. And then they now have Resubmit Assignment as an option if there are multiple attempts allowed. So that is helpful. I'm still probably going to use Rocketbook because the one problem that we have run into is that once a student has submitted this, they no longer have a copy of that picture. Like, they have the hard copy, obviously, but they haven't. I can't go into my pictures and find what I just submitted. And you can do that with Rocketbook. And personally, I prefer PDF files over JPEGs anyway, for submissions, which is another reason I'm probably still going to continue using Rocketbook. But not everybody has that requirement. So that was the student side of things. The other thing I want to show you guys is the teacher side of things. And the greatest use, let me close this real quick. There we go, sign in, Lonely Screen, there we go. So the Lonely Screen, like I was saying, is an app that I've used. There we go. Alright. Oh, nuts. I accidentally submitted that earlier. So my example student assignment got submitted. But I can still kind of show you what I'm wanting to. So in here, so we have all of my courses listed here. And I don't know why it's blurry, because it's blurry for me too. But under To Do, just like on Canvas, we have SpeedGrader that opens up. And if I click on Hazard Communications here for Cora, looks like she completed the module. And I can go through and assign a grade that she got. If I hover long enough, Excused becomes an option. If I hover long enough on this side, No grade becomes an option, which I didn't realize was a thing until just now. If I come into comments, I can type anything I want here, and it will show up. Not only will they get a notification about it, but they sorry, distracted by chat. They will also be able to view that comment in Skyward, which, if you've ever done comments in Skyward before, there's only like 34 characters that you can type in. This you can type paragraphs, and it will post it to Skyward. And if the parents have that digest that they get, like once a week or something like that, the comments will appear in there. But the greatest feature of this, and I can't really do it with the type of submission for this one. Oops. Don't worry, Shelly. Cora didn't actually get a 0 on that, even though I just submitted it as 1. I'll fix that in just a minute. But here, let me see if I can open an assignment and show you what I wanted to show. Submissions. Let's see here. Let's do that one. I don't know. There we go. So once this loads, there we go. So this was kind of what I was talking about. This person did not use Rocketbook to take the picture. They just took a picture of it with a camera, which is why I don't like it for drafting. But so I can do this with my finger if I wanted. I could just write on the screen and make any annotations. I can click text and type. I can highlight things. But the real power comes from this. So your lines, help if I could spell. There we go, erase. Getting non-parallel. And then when I click done, that is now submitted to the students, and they can view it when they go in and look at their grades, and see the comment that I posted. So that being said, not everybody has an iPad or has an iPad that works well or with a pen. The new teacher laptops that we're all getting are fully pen capable. So now you have to ask James for them, and I think he said there's like 30 or 40 of them that were purchased initially. If there's a greater demand for them, we can get more of them out later. But the app in Windows works just the same as it does on the iPad. So you'll be able to use SpeedGrader just the same way on our new tablets as you could on this. So, but I think that's about all I had to show personally. I know Mr. Maybe has a few things, and then we've got some questions to answer. Let's see here.
Say I've been answering most of the questions in the chat.
Okay.
The pens are actually available now. Just give James a message and see when he wants you to pick those up.
Okay.
Since we're about out of time, I would say one of the easiest things, if you guys are looking, I'm going to share my screen and hopefully wrap this up really quick.
Okay.
So you guys are seeing my physics class, hopefully. This is under your settings tab for your classes. If you go to navigation, I want to point out a couple things that have changed in the last 2 weeks. Many of you probably got 2 new apps, the BrainPop and Seesaw. You can get rid of those by just moving them down. Move them up, they see them, move them down, they get out of the student's view. Unless you're using them, I think mostly middle school students are using those 2 apps. But the other one I wanted to show you guys is the GradeSync. GradeSync is a good tool. And again, we're under the navigation tab.
Make
When
sure
you're
you
in a
click
class,
save at the
good.
bottom before you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it won't remember that.
So if you're in a class and you've, hopefully mine will update now. You click on GradeSync, and if everything goes well, of course not. My list is gone. Mr. Romo, would you share yours?
Yep.
Thank you.
Whoa. Okay. There we go.
It does not like that.
It's really fun. It's like Inception for computers. Let's see here. What was I using? I think Intro was the last one I did.
The one thing you can see,
GradeSync.
and this is one of the easy ways to check that your GradeSync and Skyward are actually talking correctly.
Okay.
If you look on the right-hand side, you see where it says completed and 20 assignments. That means the green check is everything went well, and you updated 20 assignments. If there's any other problems, you can click and actually see any problems that a grade or assignment had. If you are having problems with that, double check, get a screenshot of it, and you can send it to Brumba and myself, and we should be able to help you guys out. So,
Oops. Let's see. I think CAD had a problem.
I'll say we're over
Yeah.
time, but
Oh, yep. Here we go. So this one, the assignment failed to create because it's not within the start-stop dates. So originally, 10/26 was the end of the first quarter, and 11/3 was the beginning of the second quarter, and anything that came due in between those would not sync. According to Ashley, they got that fixed, so I think Monday is now the end of the quarter, or Friday is something like that. So errors like this would be cleared up as soon as I sync this again. But it'll tell you exactly what the problem is, and you can, yeah. So there we go.
And to answer the 2 questions that popped up, color correction is an issue for it. We're still working on that. Right now, the other one, Tori, we are working on a way of a nightly GradeSync, but somehow Canvas is not letting us do it. It should be a setting we have, we're missing it. So hopefully it will come shortly.
So once they get it figured out, like I've talked to James and he's actually going to the community because we can't figure out why it's missing. But next to settings and GradeSync should be this green button that says nightly sync. And you would have the option for at midnight to 1 a.m. every night. It does it automatically for all your classes unless for some reason you didn't want that to happen. We're looking into the problem.
All right, thank you guys. As always, Mr. Roma and myself are always available for helping. We'll be able to look at it. Thank you guys.
Ow.
I have a question for you really quick.
What's up?
So I'm clicking on this link now. I made a copy for my health class, made a copy for my low impact class. Now when I'm clicking on the link, the Canvas. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so you only need one spreadsheet.
I can.
Yes. So you only need the one spreadsheet, and then you make in that Canvas menu at the top, you change it for each class. So
Gotcha.
because that
Okay.
was the problem with mine. I had had this set up for years, and then I went and did the first session this morning, and the first session was like, "Oh, we're not going to work." And I was like, "Well, crap! Now I'm showing this to everybody, and it's not working." But it's because I had multiple spreadsheets linked to the same account, and I didn't like that.
Okay, so I would have pages at the bottom then that would say like,
No.
this is, or
So
I,
every time you do specify a course, it just
Mm-hmm.
repopulates the data on the dates page.
gotcha.
So,
Okay,
so
I
yeah.
understand then. Okay,
I think you can add other spreadsheets to this, so you could keep a spreadsheet that has like all of your links on it, and you can just copy and paste them in. But I've always just done it by coming over and copying which I'm doing things that you aren't seeing because I don't have my screen up. But but yeah, so I've just copy and pasted in. Is the easiest way, and theoretically you shouldn't have to do this more than once or twice a year, but this year's been kind of weird.
yeah, it is quite weird. So, all right, well, thank you very much.
Uh-huh.
I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. All right. Stop.